Once upon a time there was a beautiful bay. Freshwater rivers poured into the bay, and ocean water came through a small opening between coastal hills. The fresh and salt water mixed, forming an estuary that teemed with wildlife. The tides came in and out. Fish swam in the bay. Thousands of mud creatures burrowed in the mud. Birds fed on the fish and mud creatures. Grizzly bears and tule elk waded in the wetlands that surrounded the bay. A river flowed into the bay from the mountains carrying sediment. Salt marshes grew alongside the edges of the bay. Decomposing plants from these salt marshes washed into the bay and became food for the fish and for the mud creatures. In the shallow water, shellfish, such as clams and oysters, grew in shellfish beds. Small tribes of people lived around the bay. The people were called Ohlone. The Ohlone people ate shellfish from the bay, and they left the shell pieces near the bay. We still find piles of these shells that they left. The shell mounds are called middens. After many years, settlers from Spain and Mexico came to live near the bay. Some of their communities' garbage was dumped into the bay. In 1848, gold was discovered and a gold rush began. Mining in the mountains caused sediment to be washed down rivers into the bay. Some of the sediment contained mercury. Mercury is a highly toxic metal that was used in gold mining. In fact, mercury still leaches into the creeks of the bay from old mining sites even today. The towns around the bay grew, and farmers planted crops around this bay. Soil from the fields ran into the bay with the rains. More and more houses and shops were built. Towns grew into cities. Sewer pipes were constructed to remove the waste from houses and bathrooms. The sewerage flowed through the pipes and into the bay. The city built laundromats where people could wash their clothes. The detergents went down the pipes with the sewerage and into the bay. They named the bay San Francisco Bay, and it grew into a major seaport, where large oil tankers and ships came to unload their cargo. Sometimes the tankers spilled oil into the bay. Factories were built along the water's edge and dumped their waste and chemicals into the water. Fishermen found that nets made of plastic were stronger than those that they made out of rope. Sometimes those nets got lost into the water while they were fishing. Fishermen and other boaters sometimes threw rubbish overboard. As the city grew around the south of the bay, traffic increased and more roads were built. Runoff water washed the pollution, such as copper particles from brake pads, off the streets and into water drains, which ran directly into creeks that flowed into the bay. Many residents washed their cars with soapy water, which ran down their driveways, flowed into the stormwater drains, and eventually into the bay. Other car owners did their oil changes and used the stormwater drain to dispose of the used motor oil. The oil quickly made its way into the bay.